Hey guys, JFunk here. Today I want to talk to you about the itemization in 8.3, Corruption Forging. So if you don't know, in 8.3, they're replacing the Titan Forging and War Forging system with Corruption Forging. What does that mean? Corruption is a new system in the game. Instead of your items Titan Forging or War Forging, they will now Corruption Forge. Now Corruption Forging has a negative and a positive effect. You'll see here an example. I have a ring here that rolls this special effect called Glimpse of Clarity. A Glimpse of Clarity will lower the cooldown of my next one spell cast by 3 seconds, but I have 21 corruption. Now what does corruption do? So there are breakpoints at which you gain, which corruption additional negative thing. But one corruption, you have a chance of taking damage, has a chance to reduce your movement speed for 5 seconds. Magnitude and the snare for the corruption. Snare, as far as I know, the snare is removable by Tiger's Lust, Rustling of Freedom, similar effects like that. You can get rid of it, play around it. At 20 corruption, they have the Eye of Corruption. We'll summon an eye on the ground that looks like this. That if you stand in the area that this eye is affecting, it will do damage to you over time, and the area that it affects and the amount of damage it deals increases based on corruption amount. And at 40 corruption, being Grand Illusion, taking damage has a chance to summon a thing from beyond. For 8 seconds, you cannot attack it, as far as I know, and just melee you for a lot of damage. It goes faster and faster with more corruption that you have. And at 60 corruption, when you gain 60 corruption, you just gain a stacking, increased damage taken, and reduced healing taken. So you want to stay at least below 60, at the very least. Probably say around 30, because Thing from Beyond can do a lot of damage. Now, what effects can this corruption system roll? Well, it can roll. There's a wide range of things that it can roll. Now, this system can roll on any piece of gear that you have, besides like your legendary cloak and your neck, obviously, besides Azurite gear. Whatever the piece is fair game. And the effects range quite a bit. This is where as the videos are going to start to get a little bit rant. So each corruption has 3 tiers that it can roll. Each effect has 3 tiers. And when you get a higher tier of a corruption, it rolls a higher corruption amount because the positive effect you're gaining from that corruption is higher as well. Looks like the sweet spot is around tier 2. Tier 3 is usually where the corruptions be way too high to be realistically taken, at least start at the beginning of this patch. So you'll see here, one of the effects is your avoidance is increased by an amount equal to the percentage of your haste. Not very useful for most people, any people. Getting this corruption forge is going to feel really bad compared to getting a corruption forge of, say, increased critical damage and healing. Right? Because critical damage and healing is going to increase the damage you do. That feels good. Getting these non-DPS increasing effects is going to feel pretty bad. Now, I equate this system somewhat to a microcosm of the beginning of Legion legendary effect, where beginning of Legion, when everyone was farming legendaries, there was a wide range. The biggest complaint was that there was a wide range of what you could get, right? You'd have players that, like myself, who would get like a utility legendary, like Sephu's, or the portal pants for Warlock, get these effects, damage at all. You have players that would be getting their best in slot, increasing effects such as crit damage, or like the Fist of Fury boots for Windwalker. Those were super good. This system kind of feels like, except even more RNG. Even more RNG. Because not only need to roll the correct affix, need to roll the correct tier of that affix at times for your perfect gear. Now, if you do get a bad corruption, such as avoidance, you can cleanse the pieces. You can cleanse the corrupted piece, which will remove not only the positive effect, but also the negative effect of it. Be left with the base item. But I believe this costs resource to do. I can't confirm that because I haven't done it myself, but it's from what I hear, that's what happens. But recently, Blizzard has changed the corruption system slightly by adding these unique corrupted weapon effects from the raid. So if you don't know, there are many unique corrupted weapon effects from the raid. Example here is from Mott. There's these tank weapon that increases auto attacks have a 25% chance to bite in the target's soul, dealing 2% of their health and damage and healing you for that amount. This effect was very powerful in itself, but it was kind of balanced in the sense that it was limited, that you could only get it from this weapon. That's the way that you could get it. And recently, they've changed it where now you can roll these weapon effects on any piece of gear that is possible. Any piece of gear that can be corrupted, as we mentioned earlier, which is almost every piece, and now roll these extra effects that are not, that I personally think that are not meant to be on multiple pieces, balanced to be on multiple pieces. And keep in mind, these corruptions have 3 tiers of rolls. You'll see here, for an example, you'll see Lord Waycrest Signet, a ring, rolled this bonus effect that infinite stars, your spells and abilities have a chance to strike a nearby enemy with an infinite star, dealing arcane damage, increasing their damage taken from the stars by 25%, stacks up to 10 times. Now it can roll on rings, and now this can roll on trinkets as well, and different tiers of this can roll on trinkets and rings. So now you're gonna be farming your Mythic Plus to hopefully you can get your best in slot from the raid. Or your best in slot gear was going to come from the raid because of these corruptions. But now your best in slot's going to come from Mythic Plus. So when the patch drops, and the season drops, you're going to be wanting to farm as much Mythic as possible so that you have as many chances as possible to not only get the right base item, which can be a weapon as well. For example, the Cut of Death for Fury Warriors. You're going to want to get the right weapon. So for Windwalker Monks, you're going to want to farm Bilestain Krogtuss and Underrot. Farm that weapon, and hopefully that weapon rolls the correct corruption effect that you want. You have to determine what that is and get the correct corruption effect as well. This is going to feel extraordinarily awful system because it's forcing you to grind this effect for just RNG. RNG is the name of the game when it comes to corruption. Like, I wasn't sure if it was humanly possible for them to make a system that is worse than Titan Forging, but here it is, man. The system feels worse because you don't get the correct corruption. It feels bad. Where before it was pretty like simple, where hey, it didn't Titan Forge, it kind of sucks. Well, you didn't have this wide range of like this person has this item that is insanely good versus my item, which is not. Additionally, the raid BOEs can also roll the corruption effects as well. So basically what's going to happen, I think, at a certain point in this patch is if the BOE or the item that you're going for doesn't corrupt and doesn't corrupt for the perfect tiered affix to the perfect affix that you want, you're not going to want that item. You're just going to throw it in the garbage. That's going to feel pretty bad. So hopefully shed some light on what they're doing, and I agree with all this. Hopefully they change it, because it isn't too late. They could still change this. It's still in the PTR, but hopefully they change their mind on this somewhat, because otherwise it's going to cause a lot of problems, a lot of frustration for people. Hopefully in the future they change this. Looking pretty RNG heavy. Anyways, thank you for watching. Hope to catch you in the next video. Make sure to check out my Twitch, link below. Let me know if you liked the video. Let me know what you think about this system. Next one.